The transformed champion Godou Kusanagi stood against the possessed Ina Setsuin, her body in the control of the Kusanagi blade Ame no Murakumo. "Let Ina go," Godou said. "The girl has made her choice. She has given her body and soul to me. Now I must fulfill my duty. I will not yield to you, Campione, nor to anyone. You, the blade of Kusanagi," Godou said as he wielded the sword of salvation. A sword that was once wielded by the god Susanoo, a god of blacksmith and metal, a god of storm and of weather, one who controlled the howling winds, who raised the tides of the seas. That is the origin of Susanoo. You who carries the sword of salvation, with the power that can cut down a god even with words. But words will not be enough, not in the void of purgatory. Godou would launch himself towards Ina. As their blades would collide, Erika watching on from a distance as Godou continued to fight. Even after everything he had been through, Godou was still standing. For Godou, he knew that failure was not an option. Staying here was not an option. The world, everyone he cared about, they needed him. As Erika gathered her strength, she watched as Godou continued to fight on. The man that she had come to know and love. Unlike any other in the world, Godou was many things, and the last thing you would think to call him was a king. For Godou did not carry himself like one, and yet he was the best king that anyone could ask for. She watched the part of him that no one else did, when no one else was around. The kind older brother who looked after his younger sister. The person that never used his newly found power for wealth or fame. Erika had gotten adjusted to Godou's school. She learned from others about how Godou Kusanagi used to be. A star athlete, someone who aspired to go to the pros, a soccer star in the making, the accident that took everything away, but how he dealt with it with grace and with dignity. He didn't become bitter. He didn't become angry. He wasn't like Salvatore, or like Vauban, or like Savannah. He did not use his power to abuse or control others, nor did he use his power for a false sense of justice. For Godou, time and time again, he continued to stand for what was right, even when the world and everyone in it tried to push him in a different direction. Even now, in the depths of purgatory, fighting against his own enemy, he only thought about saving them. Something that no king, no Campione would ever try to do. For this and many more reasons, she loved him. Meanwhile, in the real world, the calm had descended onto the earth. The storms that had now been terrorizing the entire planet had subsided. Maria and Liliana, along with Toma, were trying to figure out how to bring Godou and Erika back. Liliana was skeptical, especially with Toma, who was the head of the HCC. "You mean to say that you want to bring back Kusanagi Godou?" Liliana said nervously. "But of course, Godou is the first Campione to come from Japan in a long, long time, so it would be in our best interest to bring him back. But why would a member of the HCC want that to happen? Isn't it your duty to keep the mystical and the modern world separate? So why would you wish to bring back the Campione?" Well, you see, Miss Krenjar, Tomo said, as he sipped from a cup of tea, Godou represents a lot more than just being a Campione. As I'm sure you know, Campione come from all over the world. Anyone who defeats a heretic god, monster, or otherwise, henceforth earns the title of Campione. Yes, I'm aware of that. It is true, traditionally speaking, Campione have never really been fully welcomed in Japan, primarily because we've never had one of our own. Campione typically do whatever they want, that's why they're often referred to as kings not bound to anything. But even still, Godou is not like any other Campione that we've ever experienced. He's a Campione with a good heart, an honest heart. Of course he is, Maria said. That's just who Godou is. He's a good person. You can't lump him in with other Campione. You're right, Maria. But also, it's because of the fact that he saved you. Remember? Against Vauban. Also, his deeds in Italy and in Rome. For all the things that he has done, Godou has shown continuously that he will not be like any other Campione that has ever come before him. No, he is something entirely different. Not more so a king, but rather a hero, Liliana said. Yes, a hero. The world is changing, Tomo would say. There was a time when there were kings and queens, a time when there were monsters and demons alike. But we've entered into a new age, an age where people are not looking for a king, they're not looking for a ruler. We live in a world now where people look towards heroes. There was a time when heroes were prominent, but slowly faded from existence. Beings such as Superman, among others, they used to fly out into the sky. People would chant and call their names. Speaking of Superman, what exactly do you know about him? Well, I was wondering when you were going to ask that, Tomo would say. Technically speaking, he's not from around here. He's not from this earth. This earth? Well, I guess that's a way of putting it. You see, the concept of extraterrestrials, those exist. You mean aliens? Liliana said. I'm sorry, you're telling me aliens exist? But of course. Why would that seem weird? Oh, I don't know. Probably because up until now, no one ever thought to tell me that they were real. Well, I can assure you aliens are real. Just because you've never seen one, it doesn't mean that it isn't true. No, our galaxy is filled with plenty of planets, aliens, and other beings from other worlds that come here. Beings with their own strange powers and mythos and things that they believe. These aliens bring along with them tradition that melds into our own world. But doesn't that change everything? The very concept of the gods and what they represent. I mean, we've only been taught the history of man. What's to say of these other beings and creatures? And that's the thing about the universe, Miss Krenjar. It moves in mysterious ways that we can't fully comprehend ourselves. But I assure you, aliens are real. But what role do the gods play in this? I mean, are the gods prominently featured in these other alien worlds? Maria would ask. That's the interesting thing. Gods often overlap. They take different forms. For example, you know how when the Greeks were conquered by the Romans, Greek gods slowly shifted into becoming Roman gods. Zeus became Jupiter. Poseidon became Neptune. The god Ares became Mars, and so on and so forth. Well, we've always had a theory. Who's to say that these gods didn't have different forms on different worlds? That they didn't mean and develop to become different things to different peoples? When you think about it from that perspective, then the gods have an even greater influence on our world than we once realized. But enough about that. You've asked about the Kryptonian. His name is Kal-El officially in our records, though to this world he is known as Superman. He came from a planet that was dying, far across light years away in space. He landed here in the United States sometime in the 1920s. The 1920s? Yes. He came into prominence around the 1930s to 1940s, to be specific. He even played a role during World War II. He served along with many other heroes of that time, other powerful beings. There was even a spirit detective that was active during that time period who also wielded the lantern ring of the Starheart. The Starheart, one of the sacred artifacts. A powerful weapon indeed, Liliana said. Yes, the world were filled with many powerful heroes, but in time they slowly began to fade away from the public eye, many of them eventually going into retirement or dying of old age or dying in battle. The last known accounts of the supposed Superman came in around the year of 1999, though a lot of texts from that time period have actually been lost. 1999? What happened? Well, it can only be described as a great battle of sorts. A superhero war, you might say. Powerful beings, Campione, things of alike. Not much is known. A lot of the records have been kept classified and expunged. Even myself, during the time period I was so low in rank, there wasn't a whole lot that I could figure out. But since then, he's been kept in isolation for almost 30 years. So you're talking about a being that's going to be well over 100 years old. How is he so strong? That's the thing. Kryptonians are a tricky race of people to deal with. From what we've been able to gather, technically speaking, on their home world of Krypton, they're actually not as strong as you would think. His power comes from the sun. He seems to be able to absorb its light and it gives him strength, though a lot more needs to be studied before we can get a full diagnosis. He's also not powered by magic. His strength is his own. It's terrifying, Liliana said. He has that much power, so much so that he can rival someone like Kusanagi Godou without using any magic. Yes, but it's also a double-edged sword. He doesn't use magic, but that makes him very susceptible to magic. Do you think that he's been possessed? I think that might be the case. A lot of this couldn't have just happened by chance. First, the arrival of Superman, then the arrival of Ina Seshuin, and then the arrival of the heretic god Athena. All of this happening at once? No, not likely. I have reason to suspect that there's foul play, that someone's pulling the strings behind all of this. But who could do such a thing? Maria would say. And more importantly, how dangerous could this person be if they're capable of doing it? In the world of Purgatory, Godou and Erica stood side by side as they battled against the possessed Ina, her body now morphing into that of a large golem. The winds beginning to bellow around them as even the gray skies had become extremely dark. The power of the god of Susanoo now flowing through the Kusanagi blade. Possessed by Ame no Murakumo, Ina had lost all control of herself. Godou, using the power of the phoenix to increase his speed, would rush to where her body lay in the center of the mass. Erica would take the front in this attack, as she used her holy blade, transforming it into the spear of Longinus, cutting away at the arms and the limbs of the possessed sword. Just leave it to me, Godou. I feel my power beginning to return. I can hold it off. You just have to pull Ina out of its body. And then what? Then we need to get hold of the blade She's not strong enough to withstand the curse, but I believe you might. You have immunity. It won't affect you. Right. Don't get hurt. Don't worry, beloved. I don't plan to. Using the boots of Hermes to increase her speed and flight, Erica would create a distraction against the rogue monster's sword. As Inna lied in the center of the beast, Godou would rush to her, as he used his newly found strength to pull her out, even calling on the strength of the bull. Breaking her free from its iron grips, Inna found herself cradled in his arms, as he wrapped his cape around her to cover her body. Even chivalrous in the time of battle. But what is to be expected of none other, Kusanagi Godou? You actually came for me. Well, yeah. I'm not going to leave you to die. Godou would rush to the beach side as he laid her on the ground. I'll come back to you. I promise. Godou would move on to help Erica, as she had launched a devastating series of slashes with the Spear of Longinus. She moved out of the way, as Godou would now call on the power of the boar. Using the divine avatar of the beast, the boar would crush onto the blade of Kusanagi, destroying its hybrid form and forcing it to resort back to its sword-like state. The moment it did, Godou would take hold of it in its hand. He could feel the negative mana slowly beginning to seep into him, but his divine protection was expunging it at the same time. All right, that's enough of you troubled sword. No, I will not be left in control of you. Come on, you've already been defeated. What else do you want? This isn't like you. Your will is not your own. You've been cursed and you don't even realize. No, I could never be cursed. No one would dare. Someone has. Please, your master. She's no longer in control of herself. Would you allow her to be killed in the process? Whatever it takes to gain my freedom and... All right, that's enough, Ame. Another voice said. Lord Susanoo. I figured I'd come towards the tail end of everything. Susanoo grabbed hold of the blade. Ame no Murakumo. It's been a while. Master Susanoo, you have returned. Only for a short while, my friend. You are in possession of Inna now. I entrusted you to protect her. Yes, I remember this. So tell me, why have you allowed yourself to become dull, my friend? You have allowed yourself to fall under a curse. But I could never be. Who would curse me? Someone who obviously means to use you for their own ends. I can feel it. It's potent within you. Even for Inna, she was able to control you better than most. But the curse, it became active, almost passive-aggressive in a way, slowly suggesting and using her mind. The mind. Mind, yes. There was one known as Mind. He laid the curse upon me. And Miss Inna. Yes, it seems that they used you to get to her. The blade of Kusanagi began to feel enraged at this. The idea that someone would use it for its own schemes, a divine weapon of the god Susanoo. Alright, this is gonna sting a little, but I'm going to remove the curse. Hold on tight. What's going on? Godou would ask Erica. The curse is being lifted from the blade. Ame no Murakumo. It's being freed from its bound. Dang, this is a tough little curse, huh? Gotta say, it's a little tricky to untangle it. Untangle? Erica? It's a curse, Godou. A curse is a binding spell of dark magic. It's not something that can easily be undone. Imagine a ball of yarn that's been tied into itself over 100 times, and you have to undo every nook and cranny of it. A curse is something like that. The stronger the curse, the more complex it is, the more dangerous it can be, but it yields an even greater result. Eventually, the dark aura had been expunged from the blade, finally resheathed and reclothed. I'm sorry about this, my friend, but I'm going to need to put you on ice for a little bit. After sealing the blade, it would finally calm down, and the raging storm around them would subside as well, as he turned to Kusanagi Godou. I know this is a lot to ask you. My granddaughter's been giving you both a lot of trouble, but please, I need you to take this blade. Okay, but why? I'm not much of a sword fighter. That's not the point. I need you to master the blade before you can give it to her. She still has some work to do before she can wield it properly. So, I'll leave you to decide when she's capable of using this sword again. Me? But why would you give me that responsibility? Because, Godou, Erica said with a smile, she will be your betrothed one day. But my betrothed? Oh, come on, not with this whole marriage thing again. I haven't actually, Godou. Yes. You need to take responsibility. Erica? It seems her body's finally collapsed under the pressure of purgatory. The pressure of purgatory? Ah! You didn't come here through the proper channels. The god of this world, the god of purgatory, they don't like it when you don't enter in the right way. It can have a negative effect on the body. Because you're a Campione, you can handle it better than others. But as for for Erica, well, without that divine protection, they're susceptible. So what are you saying? I'm saying you need to hurry up and figure a way out of here. Otherwise, they're both going to die. To die? No, I won't let that happen. I won't lose either of them. No, there has to be another way. Tell me, how do I get out of here? Meanwhile, at the Rock of Eternity, the 24-hour time limit had reached its end. The barrier keeping the three assailants from entering had slowly weakened. With a few swift attacks, Athena and Superman were able to break it free, as Mr. Mind slowly crawled onto Athena's shoulder. I told you, his power has now waned. You have grown weak, wizard. You will not pass. I will not allow it. The time for your bluff has come to an end. You have no champions, no one to fight for you. Face it, you have lost. Suddenly, in a flash of light, 3 figures would appear in front of the wizard. 3 Campione. It's been a while, old man, Salvatore said. Wizard? Savannah. Princess. Hello, wizard. I am humbled to be in your abode. Athena. Diana. You're a mighty long way from Themyscira, aren't you? I heard you were causing trouble, so I knew I had to step in. Though, trouble is all you're good for these days. I would have loved to have come to you personally, How are the rest of the Amazons? Have you enjoyed your isolation? We only keep ourselves isolated to keep the peace. You know that. Yes, your faint sense of peace. While the world of man continues to drown in darkness, you only continue to hide. Tell me, has your heart not recovered since you lost your beloved? What was his name? Oh yes, Steve. You will be wise not to say his name in my presence. The anger that I have, I cannot keep it contained for too long. Who knows what I might do? Oh, I'm very aware of what you will do. And make no mistake, the hatred is more than mutual. Savannah, Mr. Mind said. I gave you a choice, but you rejected my hand in friendship because you're insane. From your point of view, maybe, but from mine, all I see are 3 wannabe kings. False Campione. You, Salvatore, a champion that the wizard rejects. Savannah, an outcast to his own family. And Diana, the disgraced. These are who you call to fight on your behalf, wizard? This is the best you can do. Say now, no need to go on with the harsh insults, Salvatore said. Besides, I had to give up a lot just to do this, as he looked towards Diana and Savannah. Don't think you can go back on your deal. You owe me for this. All debts will be paid in full. Savannah, the wizard said. What is the meaning of this? Why are you? I know we have our past, wizard. And trust me, I have no delusions about where this will go. I didn't come here to seek forgiveness, nor do I have any regrets about what I've done. I'm simply here because there's only one world that matters to me, and I refuse to let it be destroyed before I accomplish what I have set out to do. So because of that, I will fight on your behalf. Just this once. A fool till the very end. Rejected by the light. Shunned by the darkness. That leaves you only in the gray. Isolated. Trapped. Alone. That may be true, Mr. Mind. But a man can accomplish a lot on his own when he's left with his own thoughts. Scary thoughts. Hey, am I chopped liver in all this? Say now, Kryptonian, Salvatore said. I know you had your fun with Kusanagi Godou, probably wasn't giving it his all, running around with those girls, but make no mistake, I don't have those problems. Shazam! Now, Salvatore said, you'll get a chance to fight a real king. If you're done wasting our time, Mr. Mind said, I have come to collect the beast. You will collect nothing, Savannah said. You have only come here to die again. And this time, don't even think about resurrecting. Stay on your guard, Savannah said to both of his allies. Do not underestimate your enemies. Defeat them by any means necessary. They cannot be allowed to leave with the beast. If they do, yeah, Salvatore said. End of the world, all that junk. I got it. I don't plan on losing. Neither do I, Diana said. I guess there's no more words left to be said now, Savannah said as his eye began to glow. I've bore the weight of the 7 sins all my life. And for this moment, I release them. The battle within the Rock of Eternity, the battle between good and evil, had now begun. This concludes Campione, Fury of the Gods. What if Godou Kusanagi was Shazam? Season 3, Part 5. As always, if you enjoyed today's video and everything else that we have to offer, then please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and hit that bell for post notifications so you can stay up to date on everything that is PowerCore Productions and Podcastings that's to come out now and in the future. Stay tuned next time as we continue with Campione, Fury of the Gods. What if Godou Kusanagi was Shazam? Season 3, Part 6. But anyway, that's going to do it for the end of today's video. I'm Javon Harrington with PowerCore Productions and Podcastings, signing off, and I'll see you next time.